Stop. Don't scroll past this. Not today. Because what is about to be spoken in this video was meant to reach you at this exact moment. Not yesterday, not tomorrow. Right now. And if you feel something stirring inside your chest as you hear these words, that feeling is not an accident. That is your spirit recognizing something it has been waiting a long time to hear. There is someone in your life, a family member, someone close to you, someone who watched you from a distance, and they just found out. They just discovered the depth of what you have been carrying, the weight you have been walking with in silence, the battles you fought when no one was looking, the tears you cried in rooms where no one came, the prayers you whispered in the dark when you weren't sure if anyone was listening. And when this person finally understood what you truly endured, they broke down, they wept. Because they had no idea at all what it cost you to still be standing, and here you are. Still standing. Type yes in the comments right now if you have been carrying something in silence that most people around you will never fully understand. Chosen one, listen carefully. Your story is not ordinary. It never was. From the very beginning, there was something different about the road you were placed on. While others moved through life with ease, with support systems intact, with people who celebrated them at every turn, your path looked different. Yours was harder, quieter, more isolating. And for a long time, you may have looked at that and wondered, why me? Why does it feel like I am always the one who has to figure things out alone? Why does it feel like my pain is invisible to the very people who are supposed to see me? But here is what no one told you. Here is the truth that this family member is only now beginning to understand. The depth of your struggle was always a direct reflection of the depth of your calling. You were not placed on a hard road because you were forgotten. You were placed on a hard road because something greater was being built inside of you. Something that cannot be rushed. Something that cannot be manufactured. Something that can only be forged through fire, and you have been in that fire for a long time. And you are still here. This is not random. Nothing about your life has been accidental. If you feel this message speaking directly to your spirit right now, like this video and subscribe to Spirit Vision. We are here for the ones who are awake. We are here for the ones who feel deeply. Hit the bell so you never miss a message that was made for souls exactly like yours. Let's go deeper. Because this video is not just about encouragement. This is a revelation. This is a moment of spiritual unveiling. And by the time you finish watching, something inside you is going to shift. Something that has been locked is going to open. So stay with me. Do not close this video. The most important part of this message is still ahead. There are people in this world who go through life on the surface. They feel things lightly. They move on quickly. They do not carry the kind of spiritual weight that you carry. And for a long time, you may have envied that. You may have looked at people who seemed untouched by deep pain, untouched by loneliness, untouched by the kind of quiet suffering that has defined so many of your seasons, and you wondered what it would feel like to be them, to be lighter, to not feel so much. But chosen one, that sensitivity you carry, that depth of feeling, that is not a weakness, that is your gift. You were built to feel what others cannot. You were built to sense what others miss. You were built to carry a level of spiritual awareness that most people will spend their entire lives never accessing. And that awareness, that gift, came with a price. It came wrapped in pain. It came through seasons of isolation. It came through betrayal, through loss, through being misunderstood by the very people who should have known you best. And this family member, the one who is in tears right now, they are crying because they are finally seeing it. They are finally seeing the cost of who you are becoming. And it is breaking something open in them that they did not expect. Type 777 in the comments if you trust that God's timing is working everything out in your life, even the things that still look unresolved. You may have noticed that your journey of pain did not look like other people's pain. Other people fell down and had hands reaching out to lift them. When you fell down, sometimes the silence was deafening. Sometimes the people you expected to show up did not, and you had to find a way to lift yourself. You had to find a way to keep breathing when the weight on your chest made it hard to believe that tomorrow would feel any different from today. You had to develop a kind of inner strength that is rare, that is uncommon, that most people only read about in books. But you lived it. You did not read about endurance. You learned it in real time. You did not study resilience from a distance. You built it in the middle of your most painful seasons. And every single time you thought you had nothing left, something inside you refused to give up. Something deeper than your emotions. Something deeper than your circumstances. Something that knew, even when you didn't, that this was not the end of your story. That something was God. Even in your hardest moments, you were never as alone as it felt. There was a protection around you that you could not always see. There were moments where things could have gone much worse. And they didn't. There were doors that closed that felt like rejection, but were actually redirection. There were people who left your life that felt like abandonment, but were actually clearing space for what is coming. And there were seasons of silence that felt like God had forgotten you. But He was simply doing the deepest work in the quietest places. Comment Amen if you believe that what felt like abandonment was actually divine preparation in disguise. Now, let us talk about this family member, because this is the part of the message that is going to shake something loose in your spirit. There is someone, and you may already feel in your soul exactly who this is, who has been watching you from a position of misunderstanding. They saw your journey. They witnessed your struggles, but they did not fully comprehend the weight of it. Maybe they minimized what you went through. Maybe they moved on quickly when you were still processing deeply. Maybe they never said the words you needed to hear, because they simply did not know. They did not know how much it cost you to show up every single day. They did not know the battles you were fighting on the inside while wearing a composed face on the outside. They did not know the nights you spent asking God if it was all worth it. But something has shifted. Something has happened, or is about to happen, that is bringing revelation to this person. A conversation, a moment of quiet, a realization. And when it came, it broke them. Because the truth about what you have endured is not a small thing. It is a profound thing. It is a holy thing. And this person is learning that for the first time, and the weight of it is moving them to tears. You have been seen, maybe not by everyone, but you have always been seen by the one who matters most. Like this video, if you have been waiting for someone in your life to truly understand what you've been through, here is something that the world rarely talks about. The chosen path is a lonely path, not because the person on it is unlovable, not because they push people away, but because the depth of their calling requires a depth of preparation that most people around them simply cannot participate in. Your isolation was not punishment. It was positioning. You were being separated from distractions. You were being separated from relationships that would have kept you comfortable but spiritually stagnant. You were being pulled away from the noise so that you could hear something that required absolute quiet to receive. And in that quiet, things happened inside of you. Revelations, shifts in perspective, a deepening of faith that could not have been produced in a crowd, a level of spiritual maturity that only comes from walking through fire without being consumed. You came out of those seasons different, quieter in a deep way, more grounded, less reactive, more aware of what truly matters. And people around you, including this family member, may not have understood why you changed, why you seemed distant, why you weren't the same person they remembered. What they could not see was that you were not pulling away from life. You were being pulled into your purpose. Type 1111 in the comments to affirm that you are stepping into the next chapter of your divine purpose. Stay with me, because we are not even at the deepest part yet. And I promise you, what is coming in this message will feel like confirmation of something your spirit has been reaching toward for a very long time. Let us talk about spiritual attacks. Because, chosen one, if you have felt like your life has been harder than it should be, if it has felt like every time something good starts, something tries to come and disrupt it, you are not imagining that. There is a reason your path has been fought over. There is a reason that from a young age, things tried to break you, tried to silence you, tried to convince you that you were too sensitive, too broken, too much or not enough. Those were not random circumstances. Those were spiritual oppositions to a destiny that was too powerful to be allowed to develop unchallenged. You have been under spiritual attack, and you survived every single one. You are here, you are still whole, you are still breathing, you are still reaching. That is not weakness, that is warfare victory. Every season that tried to destroy you, instead, deepened you. Every person who betrayed you instead revealed to you what real loyalty looks like. Every loss you experienced cleared space for something more aligned with who God designed you to be. And this family member who is in tears, they are only beginning to see the surface of the warfare you walked through. If they knew the full depth, they would be on their knees in awe of who God had to be in your life just to keep you intact. Type 222 in the comments if you are ready for a breakthrough in this new season. Because one is coming. I feel it in this message, and so do you. Now I want to speak to the part of you that is tired. The part that has given so much and sometimes wondered if it will ever be your turn to receive. The part that has prayed and waited and trusted, and then had to trust again when the answer didn't come in the timing you expected. I want to speak to the part of you that carries wounds so old you have forgotten what it felt like before them. The part of you that has learned to smile through things that would make others stop completely. I see you. God sees you. And this message was sent to find you today as a reminder that your faithfulness has not been invisible. Your endurance has been recorded. Your tears were not wasted. Not a single one. Every sleepless night. Every unanswered prayer that turned out to be divine redirection. Every moment you chose to keep going when everything in you wanted to stop. It has all been building something. And what it has been building is so much greater than the seasons of pain that went into creating it. This family member is in tears because they are getting a glimpse of that. And they feel the weight of not having been there for you the way they should have been. They feel the gap between what you needed and what they gave. They are carrying that now. And that feeling, that is God working in them too. That is God using your story, your journey, to awaken something in the people around you. Your life is not just changing you. Your life is changing others, even now, even the parts that feel unfinished. Suva to Spirit Vision right now if you believe that your story is still being written by God. Hit that subscribe button and become part of this community of chosen souls who are walking in awakening together. Let us go even deeper, because there is a truth about chosen ones that almost no one talks about. And I believe it is the truth that is going to unlock the deepest part of this message for you today. Chosen ones often feel the most lost right before their greatest breakthroughs. Ride that again. Feel that. Because if you have been in a season that felt like confusion, like the ground beneath you was unstable, like your sense of direction had disappeared, that is not a sign that God has abandoned the plan. That is a sign that the plan is so large, so multi-dimensional, so beyond what your current perspective can fully contain, that it requires a season of not knowing to stretch your capacity to receive it. God does not take you through confusion as punishment. He takes you through it as preparation. He is expanding what you are able to hold before He places in your hands what He has prepared for you. And this family member, this person who is weeping, they had no idea you were walking through that kind of preparation. They thought what they were seeing was a person struggling. What was actually happening was a person being made, being refined, being elevated in the invisible places before the visible elevation could occur. You were never ordinary, not from the beginning. You came into this world wired differently, sensitive in ways that confused people around you, aware of things others couldn't perceive, emotional in a way that ran deeper than the surface. And the world, and sometimes your own family, did not always know what to do with that. So instead of being celebrated for your depth, you were sometimes told to quiet it down, to be less, to be more like everyone else, to stop feeling so much. And some part of you tried. You tried to fit into spaces that were not made for your shape. You tried to shrink yourself into relationships and situations that could not contain who you truly were. And it never worked. It never fit. Because you cannot make a chosen vessel ordinary, no matter how hard the world tries to convince it to be. Type yes again in the comments if you have spent years trying to shrink yourself to fit into spaces that were never designed for who you truly are. This is your confirmation. This right here, this moment. This message reaching you at this exact time. It is confirmation that the shrinking is over. The hiding is over. The apologizing for your depth is over. The season that is coming for you is not a season of smallness. It is a season of expansion. And the people who were not able to understand you in the small seasons will be standing in awe when they witness what expansion looks like on a person who was built for it, including this family member. They are already starting to see. The tears they are crying right now are the beginning of a new understanding. And that new understanding is going to change the dynamic between you and them in ways you have been quietly hoping for a long time. Like this video if you are ready for the relationships in your life to enter a new and deeper season. Your engagement tells the Spirit Vision community that this message is reaching souls who need it. Let's spread this to every chosen one who is still walking in silence. I want to talk about your faith, because chosen one, the kind of faith you carry is not the kind that came easily. This is not a faith that was grown in comfortable conditions. This is a faith that was tested in fire and still chose to believe. This is a faith that looked at impossible circumstances and found a way to hold on to hope, even when hope felt like the most unreasonable thing in the room. This is a faith that prayed in the dark, that trusted in the silence, that believed for things that had no earthly evidence yet to support them. That kind of faith is rare. That kind of faith is holy. And it was not built overnight. It was built through every season that forced you to rely on something greater than what you could see. It was built through every moment where the human support was not enough, and you had to turn inward and upward to survive. It was built through loss and grief and confusion and stillness. And because it was built that way, it is unshakable. You have a foundation that people who have never been tested do not have. And when the storms come, and they will come for everyone, you will be the one still standing. This family member is just now beginning to understand the cost of that faith, and it is undoing them. Because they realize they watched you build it without knowing what they were witnessing. They thought they were watching you struggle. They were actually watching you become. Comment, Amen, if God has used your darkest seasons to build something inside of you that nothing can shake. You were never meant to be understood by everyone. That is one of the sacred truths of being chosen. Your path was never going to look like the mainstream path. Your victories were never going to be celebrated in the ways that ordinary victories are celebrated. Your growth was happening in dimensions that most people around you did not have the spiritual sensitivity to perceive. And so you walked through some of your most profound moments in a kind of invisible triumph. You knew something had shifted. You knew you had crossed a threshold. But the people around you were not equipped to witness it. That changes now. The season that is coming for you is one of visible fruit. All the invisible work, the inner healing, the spiritual growth, the quiet becoming, is about to produce something that even the people who could not see the process will be able to witness. And they will not be able to explain it. They will not know the full story of how you got there, but they will see the result. And they will know, in their spirit, that something divine was at work in your life. This family member's tears are the first sign. They are the first visible evidence that the world around you is starting to recognize what God has been doing in you. And this is only the beginning. Type 777 if you believe that what God started in your life, He is faithful to complete, because He is. He always has been, even when you couldn't see it, especially when you couldn't see it. Now let me ask you something, and I want you to sit with this question. Don't rush past it. Let it settle. How many times have you minimized your own pain to make others comfortable? How many times have you said, "I'm fine," when you were carrying something so heavy it was difficult to breathe? How many times have you held space for other people's struggles while quietly folding yours away somewhere no one could see it? How many times have you smiled through things that deserved grief? How many times have you moved forward when what you really needed was permission to stand still? You have been carrying so much, for so long, in such silence, and this family member is in tears because they are finally seeing it. Not just what you endured, but how much of it you endured alone. How much of it you carried without complaint. How much grace you extended to people and circumstances that did not extend the same grace back to you. They are seeing your quiet strength for the first time, and it is devastating to them in the most holy way possible. Because sometimes the truth of someone's sacrifice doesn't hit until it is finally shown in full light. Your sacrifice is being shown in full light, not to shame anyone, not to create conflict, but because God knows you need to be seen. You have earned the right to be seen. And He is orchestrating the moments of revelation one by one. Sucklever to Spirit Vision, and drop a comment below telling us what season of your life felt the most invisible. We read every single comment. This community is built for the ones who feel unseen. And we see you. There is something I need to tell you about your future. Because this message is not only about honoring your past and your pain. This message is about what is being unlocked ahead of you. And chosen one, what is ahead of you is not ordinary either. God does not take a person through an extraordinary preparation and then hand them an ordinary life. The degree of your testing has always been proportional to the degree of your purpose. The depth of your pain has always been a shadow of the depth of your impact. What you have been through was not wasted. It was curriculum. It was training. It was the formation of a vessel that is now ready, or is becoming ready, to carry something that will affect not just your life, but the lives of others around you. You are not just being healed. You are being prepared to help heal. You are not just finding clarity. You are being prepared to bring clarity to people who are in the kind of darkness you once walked through. You are not just receiving. You are being positioned to give in a way that your pain made uniquely possible. This is the hidden truth about chosen ones that the world rarely speaks. The suffering was not pointless. The isolation was not punishment. The spiritual attacks were not evidence of abandonment. All of it, every single painful chapter, was part of a divine story that is still being written. And the chapter that is coming next is brighter than anything that has come before. Type 11111 if you are ready to step into the fullness of what God has been preparing you for. Type it and mean it. Declare it over your life right now. This family's members' tears are also tears of something else. They are tears of pride, deep, quiet, overwhelming pride. Because now that they understand what you went through, now that they see the full picture of your endurance, they are in awe of you. They are looking at you differently. They are seeing the warrior underneath the weariness. They are seeing the anointing that was being formed through the affliction. They are seeing you, the real you, perhaps for the very first time. And they want you to know, through whatever way this knowing reaches you, that they are sorry. Sorry for not seeing sooner. Sorry for not asking the right questions. Sorry for not pressing past the surface of "I'm fine" to the real truth of what you were living. They are sorry for the times their silence felt like indifference. They are sorry for the moments you needed a hand and found instead an empty space. That sorrow is genuine. That sorrow is holy. And it is the beginning of something new between you. Healing is coming to your relationships. That is part of what this season carries. Not just personal healing. Relational healing. Restoration of connections that pain had frayed. bridges being rebuilt across the gaps that suffering created. And it starts with this, with the moment of recognition, with someone in your life finally seeing what you endured and being moved to tears by it. Like this video, if you are believing God for healing in your family relationships. Send this video to someone in your life who needs to hear this message today. You never know whose spirit is waiting for exactly these words. I want to speak now to the part of you that has wondered, even quietly, even in moments you might not admit to, whether you are truly chosen, whether this idea of being chosen actually applies to you, or whether it is something meant for people with more impressive stories, more visible testimonies, more dramatic transformations. I want to look at you directly through this screen and tell you, yes, you exactly as you are, with your unfinished healing and your lingering questions and your moments of doubt and your messy, complicated, painful, beautiful journey. You are chosen, not because you are perfect, not because you have it all figured out, not because your faith has never wavered, but because God chose you before you were born, before you had the chance to earn it or lose it, before you made any of the choices that shaped your story. He looked at what your life would look like, all of it, including the hard parts, and he said, yes, I choose this one. That is not a small thing. That is the foundation of everything. And everything you have endured has been within the context of that divine yes over your life. Nothing about your life has been accidental. Not your gifts, not your wounds, not the family you were born into, not the experiences that broke you open, not the people who came and went, not the seasons of silence, not the unexpected redirections. All of it has been held in the hands of a God who knew exactly what he was building and refused to rush the process. And this family member who is in tears, they are getting a tiny glimpse of that intentionality. They are beginning to understand that your life has not just been a series of events. Your life has been a carefully crafted journey with a destination that is going to be worth every single step it took to get there. Comment Amen if you believe your journey has been crafted with purpose and your destination is worth every step. Let me speak to your exhaustion for a moment. Because chosen one, I know you are tired. Not just physically tired, though that is real too, but spiritually tired, soul-level tired. The kind of tired that comes from carrying things for too long without enough rest. The kind of tired that comes from giving and giving without enough receiving. The kind of tired that comes from fighting invisible battles that no one else can see. I know. I feel it in the spirit of this message. And I want you to know, this kind of tiredness is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that you have been showing up. Consistently, faithfully, often beyond what should have been required of you. And the weariness you feel is the weight of a long season finally beginning to lift. Because what you are stepping into next is not going to require you to fight as hard as you have been fighting. The season that is coming carries a different energy. A rest within the movement kind of energy. A flowing forward rather than pushing through kind of energy. God is not calling you to keep grinding through the same resistance. He is about to open a new road, one that was always intended for you, but required this exact amount of preparation before you could walk it without it consuming you. You had to be shaped first, and you have been shaped. You are being shaped still, but the end of this particular forge is closer than it has ever been. Type 222 in the comments if you are ready for a new road. a new season, a new experience of what your life can feel like when the resistance lifts and the flow begins. Subscribe to Spirit Vision and hit the notification bell. We put out messages designed for souls in exactly this place. In the in-between, in the transition, in the space between who you were and who you are becoming. We see you here, and we speak directly to where you are. Now I want to close this message with something that I pray settles into you like deep, still water. Because everything we have spoken about today, the pain, the isolation, the silent endurance, the spiritual attacks, the divine preparation, the family members' tears, the revelation of your worth, it all points to one central truth. You are deeply, profoundly, irreversibly loved. Not loved in spite of what you have been through, loved through it, loved in it, loved with a love that entered every dark room you sat in and refused to leave even when you couldn't feel it. A love that assigned purpose to your pain before the pain even arrived. A love that saw every tear you cried in private and held each one as sacred. A love that has been writing your story with more care and intention than you have been able to see from inside the chapters. This family member is in tears because love is breaking through. The love that was always there, in you, for you, around you, is becoming visible. And it is a beautiful, holy, transformative thing to witness. And it is only the beginning of the visibility. Because this season is about things becoming visible, things becoming known, things coming to light that have been hidden in the deepest and most faithful parts of your journey. God has been preparing you. He has been equipping you. He has been positioning you. And the time of stepping into what was always intended is not as far away as it sometimes feels in the dark moments. You are closer than you think. Closer than the enemy of your purpose wants you to believe. Closer than the discouragement has tried to convince you. You are right on the edge of the next thing. And this message found you today as a divine sign that you are not to turn back. Don't turn back. Whatever you have been considering giving up on, don't. Whatever door you have been wondering if you should stop knocking on, knock one more time. Whatever prayer you have been about to stop praying, pray it one more time. Because the timing is not behind. The timing is precise. The timing is perfect. And you are in it right now. Type 777 one final time if you trust God's timing with everything in your life. Type it as a declaration, as a prayer, as a surrender to the divine plan that has always been greater than what you could map out on your own. If this message spoke to your spirit today, if something in you felt seen, felt understood, felt confirmed, please like this video right now. Your like helps Spirit Vision reach more chosen souls who are walking in silence and need to hear that they are not alone. Share this video with someone in your life who is in a hard season. You may not know exactly what they are carrying, but your spirit is telling you they need this. Listen to that nudge. Be the person who passes the message along. Subscribe to Spirit Vision and become part of this community of awakened souls. We are here for the sensitive ones, the deep ones, the ones who have been through the fire and come out still believing. Hit the bell icon so every new message reaches you the moment it goes live. We release these messages for people exactly like you, and we never want you to miss one. Drop a comment below. Tell us what part of this message hit your spirit the hardest. Tell us what season of your life you feel you are in right now. Tell us what you are believing God for. We read every comment, everyone, because this community is not just a channel. It is a family of chosen ones who are finding their way to each other. Chosen one. This is not where your story ends. This is where it gets more beautiful than you ever allowed yourself to imagine. The family members' tears are just the beginning. The breakthrough is already on its way. You were never ordinary. You were always chosen. And now the world is starting to see what God always knew.